Let me pull this up. Let me get this here. Just give me a second. Do you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So this is where I'm running into issues on this line 50, what's 57? I've
Okay.
been able to get all the way up to 57, but with 57, I have no luck after when I run this command. At first,
It's
it
saying it
was hanging.
requires two argument.
Yeah, so I was just trying to troubleshoot with other stuff I saw on Stack Overflow, but initially, this is how the issue started here. Where's this?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was timing out when I ran that command.
It was timing
Then
out.
I Yes, it was timing out when I was trying to run the command on line 57. I was able to run 51 to update, but when I got to 57, this is where initially everything kind of went south.
Did the other ones run successfully, the ones before it?
Yes, 51 ran, 44, all of these ran. It's just when I get to here, 57.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let me look at that command. Let me compare it to my, just leave it on that command. I just want to make sure there's not a typo in there because it should work. Give me a second.
Okay. And this for Mac.
For Mac, okay. All right. Um, command, root, helm strong secret. Okay. And this command use them to install Kubernetes specific maintain a driver loss. Okay. Helm update. Then helm install. Say secret store driver. Secret driver namespace. So when you run that line 57 and let's say
Oh,
what error you get.
okay. Now it's a different one, but yeah, let me run this. Oh no. This. Now I'm getting this error.
Mm.
Cannot reuse a name that is still in use.
I think it created what I think the command ran successfully. So
Oh,
go in, you have your EKS cluster running, right?
yes.
So
Yes, I do.
go in your cluster, let's say. Go in the management console.
Okay, yeah, let me bring that screen up. Let me bring that screen to this. 'Cause I'm using different screens. Get this right here. Okay. EKS. So here it is.
All right. Your node has issue, right?
Yeah, but one thing was I was able to see the EC2 instance up and running though.
Yeah, but click on it. What issue does it have? You shouldn't, your node shouldn't have any issue at all. Okay. All right. So node health issue, container runtime network not ready.
Hmm.
Yeah, your node has issue that could cause it. Um.
Hmm. So
So
even
so
though,
let's
yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
so even though I was able to confirm the EC2 instance is up and running,
Mm-hmm.
that that still doesn't negate this issue, right? This,
Exactly. I mean, yes, your EC2 instance is running, but the node itself, well, which yeah, because there's an issue here, it could affect something. I mean, that's yeah, even though the EC2 is there, but the EC2 instance is almost like the hardware that every application will be running on, but the software wise, there might be something on it that when you run the command will just make it fail. You understand?
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
because
I get.
sometimes your EC2 may be up and running, the EC2 itself is fine, but configuration wise, the software in the EC2 may have issue. So first
Okay,
thing is we want to, so but let's look at let's go in the node. So go back one, let's go in the node because I think when you run that command, it is pretty much it is installing, yes, go to compute. It is installing that CIS driver on the see you can see those there. You can see all that stuff is the status. Even your EC2, right? Your node group for the EC2 status says not ready.
yeah,
Uh, Scroll down. Oh, that's see. You can see everything says not ready. Your worker node, your rent zone worker node status says create fail. So let's just delete. So let's delete the worker node and we'll delete the cluster. Then we'll just recreate it.
okay. So worker node.
Yeah, select it there and just delete. All right. Um, yeah, we'll just wait for that to be deleted. Then we'll delete the cluster too.
Okay.
Yeah, so the main thing is once you create your cluster and you create the worker node, before you start running the command, you have to first check the status of your worker node. It has to be the status has to be 100% like healthy, right?
Mm,
Um, Having like some type of failure status in it would definitely affect some of those commands. 100%, I don't know what those commands. I mean, like I have the concept wise, I know what the command is supposed to do, but how the command is functioning in your node, I don't know all the details about it. So
okay.
So that's why that command you were running may have run into an issue when it is actually, because that's a, you know, the previous commands, right, that you ran, those will be successful because those commands are probably doing things outside of your node. Things like setting up your kube config file and things
Yeah.
like that. But this is a command that is actually setting up a configuration in your node, which makes sense why it is failing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Looks like it's taking.
Yeah, usually it takes time. Yeah, usually it'll take time. Once that's done, we'll delete
The
the
cluster.
cluster too. Yeah.
So it's not one of those. If you delete the cluster, it'll delete everything linked to it.
Unfortunately, you would think that is, but when you try to delete the cluster, it will tell you the node group is still in it.
Mm,
That you have to delete the node group first. So I think it's because it does make sense because when you create the cluster, right, it doesn't create the node group. So we create the cluster and we start creating other resources in the cluster. So you have to remove that resource before you can delete the cluster. It's almost like when you create a VPC and you now add an EC2 in it, right? You have to delete
yeah.
the EC2. Yeah. It would be
Yeah.
nice if there's like a force button that deletes pretty much everything in the cluster once you are ready to delete it.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there isn't one. AWS may add it later on, but there isn't one for now.
Yeah. I think I've run into similar issues when I try to maybe delete like a VPC and maybe like an internet gateway or something associated with their
Yeah, usually if there's something, if they're associated with something, you can't delete them. You have to remove the association. If your security group is in use, you can't delete it. You have to first detach it from whatever resource is using it to be able to delete it. Yeah, so
So, just quick question. This worker node could contain multiple containers, correct?
yes. So that
Okay.
there's different containers on it doing different things. Yeah. So which is
Okay.
why the EC2, right?
Yeah.
When we launched the EC2, we are using like a T3 medium. Yes, there's like for example that Helm command you try to run, that is probably also creating another container with the configuration on it. So I think that's what
Oh,
we'll
okay.
see. So once you create your node group, right, and you create your node group and you go in the node and you see the pods. I mean, and if I'm wrong, someone correct me, but I think the pods in it are the different containers. So because if you go in that node group, you see different pods. So
Mm.
that command you ran is supposed to create, I'm pretty sure under the pods, we should see the settings there. So, uh,
I think it is deleted. Yeah.
all right, cool. Now try to delete your cluster.
First, right side. Quick question. How widely uses Kubernetes in like cloud roles?
I mean, I haven't used it before in any of my projects, but
Mm.
there are probably I mean, I've heard of other companies using it. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of companies that use Kubernetes, but pretty much in all the projects I've worked on since I've been working as a cloud engineer, no one has used Kubernetes yet. And the reason why in the most of the projects I've worked on, pretty much all the projects I've worked on, why we haven't seen Kubernetes is because if you are the application, most of the application I was managing only usually sometimes is application that internal employees use, or even if it's like an external people that access it, is very small amount of people. And at the most, we probably have two containers running, right?
Mm.
So we have 1 to 2 containers running. So using Kubernetes for an application where you only need like 1 to 2 containers is kind of like an overkill. It's not kind of, it is an overkill.
Yeah,
So so we in our case, the benefit of using Kubernetes doesn't apply. You understand? So I'm saying like you'll probably run into companies using Kubernetes if they are managing a large scale applications where they just have hundreds and hundreds of containers. You understand? So uh,
yeah.
I think it's like, I mean, I haven't run into one, but I think your chances of running into like a company that's using Kubernetes is there. But then if that's the case, they would also, on the job description, you will see it. So I think it's something you should learn and you should understand. Um, and for even for me, I understand Kubernetes from EKS standpoint, but the Kubernetes open source itself, I don't understand it. But deploying an application on EKS, I can do that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I've heard of a friend of mine uh that works solely on Kubernetes. So I do know of somebody, but yeah, like you said, as far as like that's the only person I know that's worked with it.
Yeah. So there's a chance you'll probably work on a project that is using it, but then there's also a big chance that your company won't use it. So it's usually one of those big companies. Like if you work for companies that are like Google, Apple, Amazon, who companies that have Uber, or just companies that have big, large scale end users and that they need to that are accessing their application, most likely they'll use Kubernetes. But for like small applications, no. Mostly
Okay.
used by commercial companies and usually use CPS. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. So usually if you work for like a big commercial companies, you most likely run into Kubernetes there. Hello, Dave. Yes, I'm teaching right now. The best way to practice containerization is Amazon um, Elastic Container. Yes. Yes, super. So the best way to practice containerization is create a Docker file. I mean, use Docker, right? Use Docker to build your image, push the image to ECR, and use ECS to um, host whatever application you have in your Docker image. Yes, that's the best way to learn it. That's how I learned it.
Can I proceed with creating the
All
cluster?
right, yeah. Click create cloud cluster.
Um,
So you select custom configuration.
custom configuration.
All right. Turn off that EKS auto mode. I think that's what we did last time with that. Okay. Now scroll down. Then give your cluster a name.
I think it was
Make sure
ransom.
you use the same name that is in your manifest file. So that way. Yeah.
Yeah, that way I don't run into issues.
Mm-hmm.
Let me, where was that? It was in deployment. I know it was
Yeah, I
called
think
ransom
it
cluster.
would be in your it would be spy ransom cluster. No, look in your script. Your
Okay,
deployment
my,
script, wherever you use to run it. Go scroll up.
yeah, it was ransom
Ransom
cluster.
cluster. Okay, cool.
Yeah, ransom cluster. Where's that? I
All right,
created
so
this role. Yeah,
for the role, just click create recommended role. AWS just add that one and I like it. So instead of us depending on our role, we can just use. So when you click that, right, it will automatically select all the settings for you. So you can see here, the role is for a cluster and it's selected. So all you need to do now is just click next. Then then you can see the policy that will be attached to it is here. Click next and give the role a name.
okay. Uh, yeah,
All right. Then you can
let's see. Yeah,
no, so call it role. So just call it rent zone E.
because I
Just
think I made
uh
something else. I don't want it
okay.
to kind of yeah.
Call it EKS cluster role. So that way you know.
Okay,
Don't name
ETL.
it to a specific project. Just name it, just call it EKS cluster role. So that way, if you the
ETL.
next time you work on another EKS project, you can just use the same role for your cluster. So that way you don't keep recreating.
And
But
what's
yeah.
the purpose of this role again? The
So
cluster. Yeah.
the cluster you are creating, this role allows it to, and we can look in the policy. I'm not sure exactly what the uh, policy does, right?
Allow.
So this will allow EKS, right, to assume this role, but in the policy, so scroll down. So you can see this policy, you can right click and it would open it in a new tab. Right click to open in a new tab. We can see what that policy does. So this policy just gives the cluster permission to EC2, right? So it has a limited permission, which is it allows it to list, write, and tag EC2. It also gives a permission to EC2 auto scaling. So scroll down. So it gives it permission to EC2 auto scaling, ELB, Elastic Load Balancer, IAM, and KMS.
Okay.
So meaning that your cluster would need access to those resources to function properly when you start
Oh,
doing your deployment. So it's just giving it access to those resources.
okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. The ETS cluster
All right.
role.
And just click create role. Then now go back to that, your cluster. Then click that refresh button. Then select your row.
Okay.
Okay, cool. The version, select that drop down.
I think we left this here as the default.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, we can select that one. That,
Okay.
yeah, that one is fine.
Okay.
All right. Then scroll down. I will leave all this as default. Cluster, no, scroll up a little bit. Right. Okay. So here, uh, I think you want to select that EKS and API, EKS API and config maps. Right. And scroll down. We'll leave this as default, and you can click next. Here you select your VPC.
Yeah, it was this. I think he was in the
You
private
select your
subnet.
private app subnet.
So it's these right here.
Uh, so why is so one says private app, and what that other one is just you just didn't name
Yeah,
it
yeah,
correctly.
I know.
Okay,
Yeah, I just yeah.
okay,
I
that's
didn't add
fine.
the app when I created it.
Okay, that's fine. Then
Yeah. In
Kubernetes.
security group.
No, there's no security group for it. It will
Yeah.
create its own security group.
So yeah.
All right, so specify it. So okay, that's all we need to select there. Scroll down. So here is public and private, and you want to click on the advanced setting. Then here you want to add your IP address there. So just open a new tab, or you can
Yeah, I
go to
think
that
so.
row, go to that rows tab, that's fine. Then EC2. Then just pretend as if you are creating a security group.
So this is the IP address of the VPC of what?
Your IP address, the IP address of
Oh,
that
oh,
you'll be
of my machine.
mhm, your network. So where you'll be connecting from. Yeah, just click inbound, add inbound room, and select my IP on that source.
So this whole thing.
Mhm. All right. Next. Um, Metric, I think you can select the cloud watch and the control plane. You will select um, check all those box.
All of these.
Mhm.
Probably have to remember to delete or turn on these on. That's the project.
Once you delete your cluster, you should take care of them. So,
Okay. The next.
mhm. And here, just scroll down.
Um,
So whatever was is selected, that's all you need. Scroll all the way down.
I know it was complaining about CNI, something like that.
Right. Yeah. So um, scroll up. Let me see. Oh, no, scroll down. Yeah, that's all you need to do. Just scroll down here and click next. Then on this page, make sure each of those um, add-ons are the latest version. Oh, okay. No, we are not there yet. So first, before you get there, right?
Yeah,
No, scroll up. Start at the top. So scroll down. All right. So under versions, right?
yeah,
So make sure it is
yeah.
still
That's the
that one is the
latest.
latest. Then go to the next one.
We don't need to set the rows.
No, we don't need to say anything there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Latest. Should we select the
Select
latest one?
Yes, for all of them, just select the latest for all of them.
The
Yeah.
latest. Yep, latest, latest, latest,
Hmm.
latest. Uh, yeah. The last one. This is the latest.
Okay,
See.
perfect. All right. So now click next. Then scroll down. Let's just review. Have your subnet, availability. You have API server scheduler on CloudWatch ready to install. CNI.
Yeah,
Okay.
CNI.
All right.
I know when I first did it, when it was found, I didn't do all these steps or
Yeah.
add the
So
IP address. Yeah.
yeah, there may have been an issue when you were creating the. So now click create.
Yeah, I think also when you update the videos, you probably do if you've not already done this. Because I think the steps are a little bit different now.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So that's why once
Yeah.
I update the video, I'm definitely going to include the it's for the creating the cluster. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely once I get to that point, I know the one I need to do the most is the EKS one and the Docker one as well. So mainly I like how AWS console is, right?
Yeah.
So even though they change a lot of stuff around, sometimes when you guys are creating stuff, I like how it is top to bottom. So the rule of thumb is if the setting says optional, that means you really don't need to put anything there. And if it is something that's required, that means that's the setting that AWS wants. So as you can see, a lot of the stuff we picked are kind of like uh, it doesn't it's not like you have to do any additional configuration elsewhere to be able to add those settings to your cluster, So sometimes what I do is if it's something I'm trying to create and I don't understand, I'll click that info button and that will give me it usually has like an information thing there. It will give me like a brief information there. Especially when you guys are creating something in the cluster or any AWS service for the first time, going through each of those settings and trying to understand it as you go is also part of your um, learning journey as well. So you guys this is not specific to you because especially the first time you are creating it, don't feel like you have to rush through the page to create it to get to the resource. Trying to understand each of those settings and what they would do when you finally create the cluster is also how you will learn it. So yeah, so we'll wait for this to be the status. We'll wait for the status of the cluster. Then once that is good, then we'll create the node. Um,
Uh, Quick question. You know how we deleted the cluster? Would that delete that? That should have deleted the EC2 had
yes.
running, correct?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So what creates the EC2 is the node group you created. So once you
Okay.
delete that node, the node group, remember that's the first thing we deleted, then that would delete the EC2.
Yeah. So that node group, that was the worker node.
Mhm.
That was like that was labeled worker node, correct?
Yeah.
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 So worker, that name is just like it doesn't matter whatever we named it.
It does not. Yes, correct.
Okay.
You can call it node. So, I mean, the term worker node is also very common when in Kubernetes. So, I think when I was learning about it and I was creating my notes, a lot of people refer to it as worker node. That was why I probably went with that name. But you can just call it node as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was the node that like pretty much facilitate all the configurations.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Refresh. So let me ask you, so is it the same is it the same user that you are signing with that you will use to run your CLI command?
Yes, but it's actually good you asked that question because I ran into issues. I kind of documented it because when I was trying to install, I ran into this issue right here. I don't know if you see this to say you must be logged into server.
Mm-hmm.
And when I
Yeah.
ran this command, I found so in one of the previous project I used this I am user.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to so in just troubleshooting, I was able to set it to this I am user. So yeah, this is this is
So
where I create. Yeah,
yeah, so that was the issue someone ran into that we figured out like 2 weeks ago, right? So in
yeah,
in Kubernetes, right, whoever create the cluster is the only one that will have access to it.
yeah,
So this IAM user that
yeah,
you are logged in the console with is the
yeah.
one that will have access to your Kubernetes. I mean, other users can see your cluster, but they won't have access to the application that is running in the cluster. So, so does this
Yeah.
user you are logged in as has access key and secret access key, right?
Yeah, yep,
Okay.
it does. So I was
Okay.
able to set it. I was able to set this profile to my CLI.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I
Cool.
was able to move forward. But yeah, it took me like an hour or two to figure out that issue too.
Yeah.
That was earlier today.
In the past, uh, I when I asked ChatGPT, he said it's always been like that. But when I worked on the project, I didn't remember. Maybe I used a different IAM user and I just didn't realize that that was the
Mm.
case. But I didn't run into that issue. And I was running Kubernetes for a long time and I didn't run into the issue until I ran into it um, like 2 months ago. And that was the first time I realized that only the user that creates the cluster will have access to it. But maybe I was using the same role and I didn't the same CLI credentials and I didn't realize.
Actually, um, there's a way to go about that because I had the same issue. I used for my um dashboard console, I used an account. Then for the CLI, I used another login. So I didn't want to create a new a new node. So I went into Access, the Access tab. There's a way you could add a user
Oh,
to
in the
Access.
access. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
And that was the way, that was one way I didn't want to like create a new one with that user. So I just went into the access and add the user, the one with the CLI access to the
I
access
see.
for the nodes.
All right. Can you go in
Mm.
that access? Let me see. So go in the
Yeah.
access tab.
Okay,
It's right
where's
on this page. See, move your mouse down where you have all those tabs, where your compute is. Access is like right there.
access?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is where your config map is. Oh, okay. So create access entry. So you just click create access entry, right? And you add your IAM user there, right? Okay. I see. So here you can give an IAM principal. Can you click out? Let me see what's under it. Okay, yeah. I think this is where you add it. So you just take you just paste the ARN of your whatever user as your
Oh, okay.
the ARN of this user with
Of the
that
user.
you want to give access that has so you see how
Ah,
your
makes
cloud
sense.
project
Yeah,
user you can add that to, right? Oh,
yeah, okay.
thank you, Ridwan. I didn't even realize you can add it from the console. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't realize you can add it from the console.
Yep, so it's active now.
Okay, perfect. So now let's create the node. So click
Got the compute. Mm,
yeah, you'll get this one. It's fine. It will go
okay.
away after a while. Yeah. Okay. No, so you want to Yeah, add node group. I'll give it a name.
And should I do the same
So do the
create?
same thing. Yes, do the same thing for that.
Okay.
So create recommended rule.
Mm.
So yeah, just click next. Yeah, scroll all the way down and click next and give it a name. So call it EKS node role. So you can see the permission that I added to it. So that could be part of what was causing the issue before. So it just it might not necessarily have the permissions to run that command. So just create it. All right, now go back to that other tab and refresh, and you should see it there. All right, scroll down. Yeah, I don't think we add anything here. Click next. Amazon Linux 2023. Yes, that's what. Use the Linux 2023. On demand, instance type. Select your instance type. Yeah, that AMI is fine.
Okay.
Under your instance type, select your instance type. Is that the one we are using? T3 medium.
Yeah, this is the
Okay.
default, yes.
All right. Okay. All right.
I think this is
one and
just to
one.
minimize cost. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shall I
the
leave
maximum.
this at
Yeah,
2
leave that one at 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Node group. So this is just when it is updating the container. How do you want to do it? The node, if you want to update your node, right? So number is fine. Yeah,
Okay.
just leave that as default. Node auto repair. Why node auto repair?
this
Enable
new
you can continuously monitor the error of the node within the this feature automatically detects and replace nodes when. I don't think we enabled this one on the thing, but you can enable it.
No.
We
Okay,
didn't?
yeah. No, we didn't, but yeah.
No, don't enable it. I couldn't remember. It's
Okay.
fine. Yeah, because we want to manage it ourselves. So click next. All right. So here, your private subnet should be selected. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Next. All right. So we have our settings and click create.
Everything looks good.
Mhm.
Creating.
Perfect. So we'll just wait for that to be created, and the status of the node has to be healthy, right? So everything,
Okay.
once all that stuff checks out, then we can run the command.
Okay, I was thinking ahead of time. To run the command, will we have to change anything here again? I know all these still stay the same, like
No.
account number, cluster.
So the way I gave you guys the command, you won't change. There's nothing you have to change on the command. The only thing you need to just add is the environment variable, the values for your environment variables that are up there. All right.
Okay,
So the commands are dynamic.
okay,
So anything that you have to change is what I um, created as an environment variable up there, right? But the only thing is you have to make sure whatever name you are using in your manifest file are consistent. All right, wait.
okay.
Yeah. Aziz, how are you? Good evening. All right, you can, yeah, once that, we'll just wait for that to be done.
Okay.
Also, while we're at that, can you go to Cloud Formation? Just open a new tab, Cloud Formation. Oh, you
I
can,
just
yeah,
go
check
here.
there, yeah.
Um,
Because when you create the service account, AWS use CloudFormation to create it. So, well, this is not here. So this is probably something else. Well, you do have a, you have this running, right?
yeah, thanks. I need to delete this. Probably been getting charged.
Yeah.
Delete.
Okay, cool. All right. All we need to do is wait for the node to be created, then we should be good.
So mostly you use Docker on your projects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
We don't even really use EC2, really. Well, it just depends on what type of project it is.
Okay.
Projects where we have to do, I found like most data engineering projects that I've worked on, we use EC2 a lot.
Mm,
And most application, like kind of like the application we are working on this project that I've worked on, we use ECS a lot. So it just depends.
yeah.
But yes, you definitely run into Docker a whole lot. Docker, ECS. Yeah, a lot of companies use them. But I think it's also cheaper than EC2.
No.
And plus with ECS, you don't have to manage, the only thing you manage is your image, right? Writing your image and
Yeah.
pushing it to ECR. You don't have to manage the underlying infrastructure, like the ECS part. So when you use Fargate, right, you are pretty
Yeah.
much AWS is managing the hardware, like whatever the pretty much the EC2, your container will be hosted on AWS is managing it for you. So which is
Yeah.
always good.
So this is
Oh,
active.
perfect. So you see how your worker node is the status is active, right? There's
Yeah.
zero health issue.
Yeah.
Right. That's what we
Yeah.
want. So now if you click on nodes,
Click
right?
on
Another thing you should
node.
check is node. Say your node, that's your EC2. Go click on it. You'll see here, right? Your
Yeah.
node, this is your EC2, right? And in your EC2, AWS has already set up some whatever Kubernetes needs, like the control plane or whatever, right? All that
Yeah.
stuff is set up there. You can see you already have 17 pods in it, right?
True.
So
Okay.
so these are all the things is set up. This is not the pods holding your application. These are whatever pods are needed for your control plane to connect with the worker node and all that stuff, right? So scroll down.
Okay.
So you can also see them here. So I think these are like your question, these are like, yeah, separate containers, I believe. Yeah. So you just
Okay. So
want to
yeah.
review all this stuff and make sure that nothing here is like everything is running. You don't see anything. So yeah, I believe we're good. Status true. Yeah. All right, cool. So now you can run your commands.
Mm,
So close this terminal and just open another one.
mm.
You have to open your terminal into uh your deployment
You
directory.
mean the folder? Yeah.
Yeah. So you can just right click on the file and if you right click on the file and and select open in integrated terminal, it will just open into that directory for you.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Then
now run that command.
yeah, you have to start,
Delete.
you have to start all the way at the top from the beginning again.
Oh, yeah. Mm, I think here I ran into issues. I had to like edit it manually. But let's see.
Yeah, when
Go
you
to
run the
my
command, you shouldn't run into any issue. Everything, the command should work perfectly. So if you run into any issue, then
yeah,
there's probably either issue with your IAM credentials or issue with your cluster. The command um should execute 100%. So you
yeah.
shouldn't
I
run into
think
any issue.
when I ran this the first time, this C was missing, and I had to copy it in the text file. But hopefully it doesn't.
Hold on,
Uh,
before you run it, see that
you see what I'm
command,
saying? Yeah.
that command, um, the way I gave the command to you, it shouldn't be the C. I'm pretty sure the C should be there, right?
Yeah, but yeah,
So
it's not showing up here. You see 9. So basically I had to manually edit it for it to work
hold on,
in text in a text file.
hold on. Let me check the command. To understand your context, use context. That one is setting your. Hold on, let me just go to the IKS project real quick. I just want to make sure because the command should be 100% correct. Um, Just a second. Um, Deployment calculation. Deployment script. Up. Data stage.
Basically I did it manually like this to get it work
So
instead of the variables. This works for me.
all right. Can you go? Can you let me see that command. The variable
Okay.
shows the command. The variable should work. So um, use context, ARN, AWS EKS region, this cluster /. So when you run it, right? So for some reason, it is that is odd that
Yeah,
it
it's
is
not
not
yeah.
because that's how you have it. That might be just your computer doing that. That is kind of odd that
Yeah.
it is the C is there.
It's not showing up.
But I can do a research on it for you. Uh,
Okay.
can you copy that output you get? Well, don't copy it now, but let me just take a screenshot of it. Just a second. Yeah,
Okay.
it might be some type of setting on your computer that is doing that
Yeah.
because
But Yeah.
It should no context with the name. Yes, I don't know why it is removing that colon on
The
that one.
colon and the C.
And the C, yeah. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Yeah. Okay. So run it, yeah, just hard code the value and run it that way. That one will work.
Yeah, I found it out too, but
Okay, perfect. All right.
yeah, okay, switch the context. Now
Now
we're
you
going to
create your
run this.
namespace.
Okay, yeah. I think now I have to switch.
So no, just add that user
Yeah,
to, so it seems like you are using your cloud project user to run it. So go to your EKS
yeah,
cluster and just add that user. So first go to the console, and go to your IAM. So or in a new tab, just that cloud formation one. Go to IAM. Select users. Then your
this is
cloud project user, right? This user has access, but your the but this is not the same user you are using to run your CLI command.
yeah,
I think the user you are using to run your CLI command is probably the cloud project or the LY one.
yeah, it's the cloud project. I was able to get past it by switching to the Nathan, which I used to create the cluster.
Yeah, I say yeah. So yeah, well, whichever one. But since the Nathan is already okay, so if you want to switch, so on the if you switch to the Nathan one, setting commands, you would have to add the profile at the end to tell your CLI that's what you want to do. But I think it's just better to just add your cloud project to your cluster so that way you can just continue using the same command.
Oh, okay, yeah. So what will I do there here?
So yeah, so in your IAM, right? Go back to your
Uh-huh.
IAM, select your cloud project user, and copy the user's ARN over there.
Yeah.
All right, now go back to your cluster. So go back to the cluster level. Good. Select your cluster access, and where did we say just now?
Is it create access entry?
Yeah, let's try that one. Yeah, that one. Then paste it there. Well, we could have even find it in here too. All right, then click next. Let's see. The on that on go back to previous. Let's see. That's click that drop down. That's standard. Let's see. Oh yeah, standard is fine. Next. Access
In this
policy.
part, you have to pick a policy. I think it's EKS. Um, I've forgotten. There's a particular policy that the original owner has.
Oh,
Then
okay.
you have to add that
All right.
policy to this.
All right. Go back to previous, or you can cancel it. Let me see, or go back to previous, one of those two. Because I saw that your original, no, scroll down and back. Uh, let's just cancel it. All right. Do click it again. Add access entry. All right here. So you see, oh no, cancel. Sorry, I spoke too soon. So you see it has standard type and the policy is that one. So that's the one you want to add.
This
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that one exactly.
Amazon cluster.
So
Amazon
EKS
VPS
cluster
cluster.
admin policy. All right, cool. So yeah, we'll do that again. So click in there, you should see your cloud project user.
Yeah, cloud server using
All right. Then standard type,
standard.
next. Policy, paste that policy. AKS cluster admin policy. All right. Then I think yeah, cluster. Then next. Then I think that's all you need. Scroll down and create. Cool. So now go back to that cluster, make sure that user is there, the cluster access. I think maybe just go back one level. Yeah, there. Yeah, that one is fine. Access. Perfect.
Yeah, I think
So we have cloud project
cloud
user.
No,
policy.
the policy wasn't added though.
The policy
I,
wasn't added.
I think you need to click on it once you paste it. I think that happens. The same thing happened to me as well. We
Yeah.
can edit
So
that.
Okay.
select the edit.
Edit.
Well, just can
Just
you?
create
I
it
don't.
again.
I think you need to like start from
All
the
right,
beginning
we'll
again.
probably have to delete it. Yeah. So
Probably have
just
to
so yeah, go back to that level and we'll delete it and we'll just try to re-add it. So access.
access.
Yeah, delete that one. All right.
Just
And
make sure.
add
Cloud,
No. This is what you
cloud, cloud
okay,
project
standard
user.
next. There. So paste it. But when you say it, you select it over there. All right.
I select. Okay.
Oh, that's the policy name. You have to add the policy, sorry.
yeah add the
Yeah.
policy. Yeah, exactly.
So I see.
There's a
So click down
Oh,
there,
add the
add
policy.
policy. Yeah.
yeah I
That's
know.
where we have to
Oh,
add it.
yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Oh, so
Yeah.
you find it there and you can add it. You add it down there. Okay. All right. Next.
Yeah, it's a little tricky, but
That's weird. They should have just make, yeah, but it's okay. All right. Then create. It should be good now. Baby Duru, thank you.
thank you. Access. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you should be able to run your command now with the same.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Red1. You learn something new every day.
No problem
I
at all.
didn't even realize that was there. All right.
Yeah. Verify. Yeah. Runs on.
Okay. Yeah, because that one probably installs in your your terminal. So that one is there.
Yeah.
That's fine.
How about with this? You there?
Yeah, that one is, but run that one.
Update. Yeah.
So it's the one you said was failing, right? This one.
Yeah. Here's where I ran into the.
It should work now because this is actually doing whatever that configuration in your node. So it should work.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
I think I should be good from.
Yeah. So then you just continue with the rest of the command.
Yeah. I'll just continue with the. Yeah. This is very helpful. Thanks.
No problem. No
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. I was
Yeah, I'm glad
struggling with this.
we can get a result. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Does anyone else have any question?
Yeah, there's actually something on my mind. So I've been going through a couple of applications. and
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing some terms coming up. Well, some I recognize like the check-in that you installed, and but there's some like puppets. I've seen like in some application the requirement to like know about puppets. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's not a necessary requirement, but they is some of those things that is useful in the application. And and there's another thing that came about ServiceNow platform. Well, I just watched a YouTube video on that. I wasn't really conversant about the ServiceNow. I think I'm digressing there, but I'm just like putting it out there, like the things that I'm noticing
Okay.
in new in the cloud
Mm-hmm.
world or the engineering cloud world,
Mm-hmm.
and the ServiceNow platform. And I think there's a Snow platform and there's a Flexera platform. Like,
Yeah,
well,
so
this you can't know everything. I'm just wondering, like, do anybody like know any information on that? Because I'm just
yeah, so
coming. I
so
just
sh
learn of them newly.
yeah, right. So those are things you can probably just watch someone's tutorial on it, right?
Yeah.
It's not something you have to do a project on or anything, right?
Oh, I see.
So so the Chef and Puppet one, that one is Ansible. So you don't want people actually don't use Chef and Puppet, right? You will run into Ansible before that. So it's pretty much uh it's pretty much the Chef and Puppet is almost like a server you can use to configure a service you can use to configure other servers you have, right? And
Okay.
that's exactly what Ansible does. So if you are trying to get experience with like or you see like Chef and Puppet on the
Mm-hmm.
application, um just use Ansible experience. Your Ansible experience counts for that.
Oh, I
So most of
see.
the time when they talk about Chef and Puppet, they're actually even talking about Ansible. So that is
Oh,
the most popular uh, server configuration software that is out there. So
wow.
so that's
Great.
that one. So ServiceNow, uh, Yama, just give me a second. I would respond to you. Give me a second. So uh, uh, s- ServiceNow is ServiceNow is kind of like a tool that we use almost every project I've had as ServiceNow. It's like a tool we use internally. And most of the time, what I've seen it used for is in all my projects, this is we use it for the same exact thing. And this was working with different company, is when we are about to do a deployment. So for example, let's say you are working on an application and you are working it in the test environment and you've tested everything in the environment and it works perfectly, right? Then you are ready to deploy the application in prod, in your production environment, which is the actual environment that the end users are using.
Yeah.
Before you can deploy it in that environment, you have to create a ServiceNow ticket. It has to go through a process of approval, right? In that process of approval, it's like a ticket. You create a ticket. You say in that ticket, you tell them, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do a production deployment. You give your reasons why, and you submit it. When you submit it, there are people that are above you in terms of like approving stuff. They will approve it. Then once the ticket is approved, then you can now move on to your production deployment, right? The
Hmm.
service they use to do that, the whole ticketing thing is ServiceNow.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So, so most likely, if you are seeing that on your ticket, if you are seeing that on the application, they probably just want you to be familiar with the whole service now, what it's used for, right? But I don't,
Okay.
unless specifically if you see on the thing that they are asking you to, you'll be creating the service now itself, which I don't think that's the case because if it is a company that is using ServiceNow, then they will already have it there. And most all the projects I've worked on, even we were just even working on deployment yesterday. That was exactly what we used it for. My lead, um, once we are done with the deployment, you have to go back to the ticket, specify whether the deployment was successful, give your summary, and you close the ticket. So it's like a whole ticketing thing we use it for.
Oh, I see.
So there isn't much of like a project you have to do now. You just need to be familiar with. So I'm pretty sure if you look up some videos online of people creating ServiceNow ticket for deployment, you'll probably see an
Yeah.
example. You probably see an example. So I think that's as much as you need to do.
Thanks. Thanks, Aziz.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was the third thing you said? Was it just
Let me
those
see.
two? You said
Oh,
about
there's a snow.
or
Well, I'm just writing snow and
snowflake,
flexera. I think it's snowflakes.
snowflake. So snowflake too, you probably can just watch a tutorial online. It's like a database.
Okay.
It's like a system, like it's like kind of like a database system where you can store different type of data, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so and I it's kind of and it uses like a lot of like SQL queries and stuff like that. So that you might also be able to watch a tutorial online, but Snowflake itself is I don't think they have a free version. I don't think it's like let me look it up because I don't want to say the wrong thing, but Snowflakes is like a paid service and it's very expensive. So
Oh, I see.
I'm kind of leaning more towards, I don't know, I haven't checked, but I'll check. I don't think you can set up like a free one to play around with, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's not something you can set up to play with, but those I've worked on one of my projects, I've worked with Snowflakes before, right? Most of the time, if you need to put something in a Snowflakes table, if you need to create a like a database in it and put some data in it, those you can do through online research using ChatGPT to generate the command. So those type of things you can pick them up quickly because
Quickly.
most of the time they use SQL query, right? You run your SQL query, it will do whatever you want it to do. And so I'll say for that one to just you can just find like a someone that has a good tutorial on YouTube and just kind of like give yourself a crash course on it. But it's not something that you will run into all the time, but there are a lot of companies that do use snowflakes too. It just depends on what your role is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So
Aziz.
no problem. So outside of like Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, CloudFormation, Ansible, CLI, and all those things, any of the third-party tools, you guys don't have to specifically do a project on it. I mean, if you can, you should, but if you can't, just understanding it and doing like a crash course on it should be fine, really. Um, Hi baby, Duru, how many months have you been doing this? So how many months have I been working working on the app itself or have I been working as a cloud engineer? So the application the LY was working on, it shouldn't take months to deploy. Usually it takes a couple of hours. In the beginning, when you are learning it, it might take you maybe a week or two. It just depends on how you slow down and how you try to understand things. But yeah, usually to deploy an app, it doesn't take months. It takes maybe like a week. And if you know what you are doing, it might take maybe like an hour or two. Um, but if you are asking how long have I been working as a cloud engineer, I'll probably um by about 6 years. Um, so does anyone have it? Sorry guys, I'm responding to people's comment. But if anyone has any question, you guys can ask me. Yeah. How do you get your Visual Studio Code to work again on Mac? Mine stopped working. Um, Yame, do you know what error you are getting with your Visual Studio Code? Um, what you said it stopped working. When you try to open it, what error are you getting on it? So those of you that have Mac, have you guys ever run into issue opening Visual Studio Code on your Mac? And I think you probably should just delete the app and re-download it. But if you can tell me what error you are getting, maybe I can point you in the right direction. No. Vivek, does EC2 require security agents? No, it don't. Unless if there's a requirement to install some security agents on it. You might be working on certain applications that will require that. Maybe like setting standard for compliance reason, you need to install some security agent on it. Then you do that. But just to host an application on it, deploy an application on an EC2, you don't need, they don't require a security agent. I mean, nothing that you have to install yourself. There might be one on it. I'm not 100% sure, but nothing in particular you have to install. I mean, for our EC2, right, when we try to protect it, things we do is put it in a private subnet, and we also add security group to the EC2. So the security group is just a firewall you can attach to it, but it is not something you install on the EC2. Old school, you said you submitted a request. Oh, you submitted a request about, yes, okay, cool. I'll check my email once I'm done and I'll respond to you. Thank you. All right. Does anyone have any question?
Got a quick question. Have you ever worked with Microsoft Bicep and Azure DevOps pipelines? Have you ever done some work with
Azure DevOps. Yeah, I've worked with Azure DevOps pipeline, but not the first one you said, the Microsoft. What was it? Microsoft Biceps?
Bicep? Yeah, it's like it's an infrastructure as code, similar to
Like,
CloudFormation, but
oh wow. But
on,
from
on
Microsoft Azure,
Microsoft. Yeah, I'm
what language is it written in? You know?
it's JSON from what I see, but it's simple though. Like I deployed and I deployed your application the other day on Azure, and it
Oh
was
wow.
it was really simple. It was like it kind of shocked me. But now I'm trying to do the infrastructure as code, and I know I could do it through Terraform, but I wanted to
Do it through
bicep, and then I wanted to use the pipeline. So I was wondering if you had ever touched the DevOps pipeline too, the Azure DevOps pipeline.
yeah, I've used Azure DevOps pipeline before, but I won't say I fully, because it's been on, like, that was like 2 projects ago. When I was working for a company like 2 years ago, we did use Azure DevOps pipeline.
Did you find
Um,
it? Did you find it simple, or did you find it like more of a complex? Like, what was the learning curve on it?
I think it's simple, um, but I didn't, what the issue is I like working on projects by myself so I can learn the basics of it. So I think I was using that Azure DevOps pipeline, a lot of the stuff there was done. So most of the time when I'm working on anything, I'm just pushing something to it and running the pipeline. So I never really that dove into the code 100% to because most of the code was done for the pipeline. So most of the time when I'm doing a change, the change will be on the Terraform code of the application. You understand? And once you push the application to the pipeline runs. So not necessarily working on the code that created the pipeline. You understand what I mean?
Got you.
So so I but from what I saw, it was similar to the same setup in code build. And when I did a code build in the past code build project, it was pretty simple.
Yeah,
So I think it's just YAML is in like in if I remember, it's like in YAML syntax, right? A YAML syntax is just like you have to um, pay attention to your indentation, certain formats that it requires your code to be in, it must be in that. It's not like JSON where as long as everything is nested properly, you'll be fine.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so I think at the core, you should just look at the template. template for, it was the same way that I learned CloudFormation. Template for that Azure Biceps or whatever, Microsoft Biceps, right? Look
Yeah.
at the template. For the template, look at the template would have like different sections, right?
Mhm.
Of those sections, mark which one is required and mark which one is optional. Then you just go from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I kind of did the same thing with CloudFormation because on their template, they will have different things. Like they will have the pre-build, build phase. They will have like different phases, right? All those, majority of them you probably don't need, but there will be different sections of that template that are required. So just figure out which one is required and which one is needed to build your job. Most likely you put the required one, which will probably, you specify the template type that you want to use or whatever. Then in your build phase is where the majority of your code is going to go for running your CloudFormation. Let me show you what I did with code build. You probably can probably do the same thing. Because I think code build will sounds like it will be similar to code build. It's the code build project I was working on. And my build spec file, right? So you see how you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Right. So you see how for code build, and they are probably like different phases that you can have, right? But these are the phases I need to do my project, right? So I have the version, right? So which is the version of the template I want to use. Then there's like the environment variable. I'm sure your the bicep one has that too, right?
Right, it does.
Then under the phases, right? These are like the different phases of what you will run. I'm pretty sure it has that too, because I've seen it in Azure DevOps, right? In the phase, I have my install phase, right? This is where I would install the softwares that the container that will be building running the build. I'll install whatever software dependencies it needs, right? Then I have the pre-build phase. So pre-build phase is where I just run Terraform. In this phase, I run Terraform init, right? I said I would configure my AWS credentials, right? And I'll run Terraform init just to make sure I can initialize. Then in my build phase, that's where I'm running Terraform build, right? Terraform build, which pretty much downloads all my Terraform code, runs it, and apply Terraform. So this is where I apply Terraform. But in this project so this is the CI/CD the GitHub Actions project we did, but I did it in code build. It's part of the project once I start recording. It's part of the ones I'm going to record to. So
Nice.
I did it in code build. So I run Terraform apply. It is going to apply it. I export some values out of my Terraform that my build is going to need. Here, I create my ECR repository, build my Docker image and push it to ECR. Then once I push the image to ECR, I update my tags definition with the new image and I restart my ECS service with the new tags definition. And
Nice.
so you can see the phase I have. Majority of the things you would do would be in your build phase.
Yeah, nice.
Right.
Do you find it like like these platforms CID pipelines, do you find it like an easier step than stepping into like GitHub Actions and some of the other ones, Jenkins and all that kind of stuff? Do you think this is probably a better approach to learn this first and then learn the other ones? Or
I think they are all almost all of them are straightforward, but I like GitHub Actions a little bit because GitHub Actions most of the time has those actions that is already doing what you want to do, right? You just say, okay, I want to configure my AWS credentials. There's an action that already does that. I'm just using that action, right?
yeah, that's
It's
true.
different from code build and Azure DevOps where the commands to do whatever you want to do, you have to add those commands yourself.
Yeah, that's true. That's
You
true.
understand? Yeah. So pretty much you have to, like here, where I'm creating an ECR repository in GitHub Action. If there's a action to do that, instead of writing my commands here like this, I can just use an action that will create the ECR repository. So that is why I like GitHub Actions a little bit better. And I also think with troubleshooting too, GitHub Actions is easier to troubleshoot in GitHub Actions than here, even though here code build wasn't bad too. So,
Okay.
but I think either one you can, it will be the same learning curve to learn GitHub Actions, that it will be the same learning curve. When I worked on GitHub Actions and code build, honestly, learning wise, I didn't see the difference.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Because as long as you understand the concept of what you are trying to do, I mean, right here, once you are in your phases, right, you know you have your build phase. And once you specify your command, at that point, it's just adding the commands for what you want to do. You understand? I
Yeah.
really don't think it's that difficult. The difficult part is figuring out the commands, right? Which is why I said if your command works on an EC2, works wherever you are running it, it will work here too.
Yeah. The community out there and all the like you said, there are already templates that's out there makes it a
Exactly.
lot easier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And GitHub Action seems to have a good community where almost anything you are trying to do, either there's an action for it or there's just the code, you will find the code. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. I appreciate it. I'll keep you updated. And is it okay if I deploy some of your applications?
No, that's fine. I mean, are you doing it on Azure? That's fine.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No problem. All right. All right. Does anyone else have any question? All right. All right, cool. We're actually very close. We're actually close to time anyway. So if you guys don't have any question, we can pretty much end for today. And I'll see you guys next week. I just need to continue recording the videos so that way I'll have like the new versions of the videos edited and out. So hopefully once I'm done with all the projects, I can start working on the Azure part, and I can maybe Sean, you can teach me some of the stuff you had to set up for Azure.
Oh, that would be cool.
I've heard Azure is very simple to learn too, but I just need to do one project on it. Once I
It
do
is.
one project, then I'm pretty sure I'll figure out the rest.
It is because I deployed that. I did just a static website, and it was so simple. It kind of scared me. Like I had to do. I must have did something wrong because I used Azure App Services,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like clicks. You clicked a couple of times, and it was deployed. I was like, wow.
Oh wow. Okay. What about, did you try to do the dynamic one?
That's what I'm gonna move to soon.
Okay.
Right now I'm trying to do something really complex. I'm trying to build a SIM in
Mm-hmm.
Azure with
Mm-hmm.
Sentinel, and
Mm-hmm.
so after that I'm doing like my playbooks and all that. Sorry about that. When I get done with that one, I'm gonna move into the dynamic one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm more focused on applications right now and getting the LinkedIn set up. But the market is really tough, you know. The
Yeah.
market is one hell of a
Yeah.
tough place right now.
I mean, as long as one thing I always find is that as long as you are doing your part where you are working on things you need to work on, building your skills, trust me, when you are ready, the right job will find you, honestly.
Yeah.
No matter how challenging it is, and and another thing I always say is like I've actually seen people that have gotten interview after interview and after interview, but are not able to get the job because of one reason or the other. So, and I always say, once you make it to the interview, that's the opportunity right there. So
show
whether
your
you
skill.
get
Yeah.
exactly whether you get the job or not is going to be based on how what you told them during the interview. So which is why I always say always practicing, preparing for the interview, practicing and doing as much projects as you can, and not only completing the project and making sure you understand them would help you when you finally get to the interview because you'll be able to really showcase yourself. And it only takes one job for you to be in, and the rest is history. So, and
Yeah.
for me, I don't know how it works for other people, but for me, I always feel like when my attention is so focused on something and I don't cheat and I really take my time to do it, nature always rewards me. Have it, I always have an easy time finding job. There's never been a time where I needed a job, even when they were firing. All I'll do is do one interview, and most of the time it leads to an offer. And sometimes I've done many interviews that didn't lead to an offer too, but I always feel like every time I'm looking for work, I always find work. So
Do,
I
do
think
you,
it's just go ahead.
I'm about to say, do you see like a shift from the time, I guess you still out there in the market, but where they like and they expect for you to be multi-cloud, like have the expertise in both clouds, or is that cool if you know how to do like it's cloud agnostic where you can, you're good in one cloud, but you also can deploy like Terraform and
Mhm.
Ansible. Like what do you think as far as the multi-cloud compared to the cloud agnostic argument, I guess?
Obviously, more skills is always better if you know how to deploy in AWS and Azure and Google is better, right? Because you can just always showcase yourself at work like that, even if your company don't use Google or Azure. For you, career wise, it's just better to be multi-cloud, and it's something that takes time to get there. So if you are a beginner, I wouldn't recommend learning or trying to learn all three cloud. I think it's good to just pick one, learn as much as you can learn. Once you are comfortable with it, then you can the same like kind of like what we are doing now. All the applications we deployed on AWS, we can now try to duplicate the same thing on Azure. So that's how you do it. So it's better to always have more. But what I found is if you are working for a company where they are managing an application, whatever system or cloud service that application is hosted on, that's what they will focus on. Their need, how am I trying to say? The need for you when you are working for a company, the need for you to, the chances you'll be working on either Google or Azure will be based on if they have an application running in it. So for example, in my project now, all of our application is in AWS, but there's another project that we just got that the application is running in Google Cloud. So now I'm starting to see they're already working on giving me access to Google platform. So in the next coming weeks or months, I'll most likely be working on an application in Google, right? So that's the chance. So it's just based on what the application your company is running, where it is hosted on.
What if you're in a company that runs in two clouds? You
Yeah, and they will require you to know both. So when I was working for Geico, right, they had me as a cloud engineer. They had AWS engineer and Azure engineer. Then when we had a new management, he didn't want AWS engineer, Azure engineer. He just want an engineer that has AWS experience and Azure experience. So he pretty much forced the Azure engineers to learn AWS and forced the AWS engineer to learn Azure. So we are just one engineer that's working on both platforms.
understood.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. What you're doing now is good. I think proactively, yes, you guys should try to learn um or learn another cloud platform if you feel comfortable with one. If you started with Azure and you are already comfortable with it, then learn AWS and vice versa. So that's how I would do it. I would learn AWS first, Azure or Azure. Where some people start with Azure. Whichever one you start with, learn the other one. Then Google will be the last one I'll learn. And the best way to learn is just do the same project you've done in AWS and try to complete those same projects in Azure. That would be the best way. Yes, sir.
I want you to know one thing, that why you are finding it very, very easy to get job is because you always help people and you are very humble. Humility and ability to help others. You don't know how God rewards people like that. All of us on this platform, what we are paying you for, what you are giving us is peanut. People that doesn't know half of what you know, they charge a lot.
Mhm.
And that is a fact. Those people who have tried other mentors will attest to it. And I commend you for that. That is why you will never have problem in getting jobs, because you are helping a lot of people. And God will continue to reward you
Amen.
for efforts and your humility.
Oh, wow. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. That made my day. Thank you. Yeah, so I believe that too. I believe that too. You know, um I'm my mom, every time my mom prays, that's one of the prayers, is she's always praying for me. And even now that I have a son, that's one of the prayers that I always pray, right? So, and I do agree with that. There is like, which is why when I was saying it, I said there's some part of nature. If you guys remember, I said like it seems like nature always reward me. It doesn't matter if anytime I feel like my back is against the wall and I start applying, I always get jobs. I just always do. So I think it's just a combination of both. But thank you. Thank you. That is certainly encouraging. Like I've always said, I don't want to be a gatekeeper for anything. Right? If I know something, I'll teach it. Especially you guys that are here. When I learn Azure, you guys think I'm going to charge you for it. No, I'm not. We'll just learn it together. The only reason why I charge in the beginning is because, and I'm telling you guys, I do get a lot of email and a lot of requests. And I've also assist people in the past that I that I was repaid with something that was kind of like unfortunate. So for me, if you want me to teach you something, that's not an issue. I can teach you, but you also have to be willing to invest in yourself. So which is why if I put it at a fair amount, that is just for me to have something to show for it. Like I don't want to look back and say, okay, you know what, I'm doing all these things. What do I have to show for it? But it's also an investment for yourself. But certainly, if you are here, there have been many people here that once their access is over, I'll if you still need more time to work on your stuff, you don't have to pay me again. I'll renew it for you. I've done it for many people, right? So thank you. I really don't want to be a gatekeeper to anything. Like if I know something, I'll teach you guys. And what I'm offering to you guys was exactly what I was looking for when I started. And I was looking for a mentor. I was looking for someone that can, because learning AWS is not hard at all, honestly. But how most people get frustrated and give up is there's too many information online. You don't know who to believe. You just don't have the information in an organized way that says, okay, do A, B, C. Because if you are hearing this person is saying do this, that person is saying do that, you're trying to work on a project, the project you are working on, you're a beginner and you are working on Kubernetes, all that stuff just gets frustrating. So what I'm doing is a combination of what I did to get job, and I'm offering what I was looking for when I started that I didn't have. So, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So with what Mr. Emmanuel just said, he's perfectly right, because I normally do like a lot of research, and I found like something similar to what you have. These guys are based in England. I think they're based in somewhere in England, and I wanted to know exactly what they were doing. So we set up a meeting. I set up a meeting with the guy. I was like, hey man, let's talk. He was like, hey, the only way we can do it is let's talk. Let's get a sense of what's going on. So I had a meeting with him, I think the day before yesterday. These guys were like charging so much money, and what they're doing is I think they're looking for people who are like complete novice to cloud. just so they can go in there. You don't have a lot of like knowledge about how these things work. Take your money and actually don't do what they said they were going to do. So I told him, I said, hey, dude, I'm not new to this. I kind of like know what I'm doing. I said, I just wanted to get a sense of like your platform, what you do, how you do it. And I just wanted to see. He kept on pushing to like let me tell him what platform that I've been using before, what I've been doing. I was like, hey man, we're not talking about me now. We're talking about your platform. Let's see what you have. Show me what you can do. And if there's gaps in what I'm doing, hey, I can, say these are the gaps. But he never, because he knew, I kind of like knew what I was doing and what I was talking about. He never got to that point. And when I checked the price, you're looking at thousands of dollars. And he's not willing to even open up to anyone outside there, like how you open up to people and tell them, hey, this is what I do. I knew right from that point that it was dodgy and they were looking for people who are like complete novice so they can bring you in and then just mess you up by the time you know it, take your money and don't even do as compared to what we're doing here. So all of us should be grateful for what Aziz is doing, and because there's loads of other people out there who are just out there just to, just to stiff people and take their money and not give them what they need.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel.
I have a similar story. Because when I started back in 2023, February, the way I started is like through one of those courses, like the class we had was about 4 classes in the weekend, and it was just a crash course. And if you see the amount I paid a total. It took me like 18 months to make the total payment. The first payment was like around £1,000, and the total payment was £4,500.
Yeah, these guys are based in, I think they're called AWS Cloud Academy. I don't know if it's aware of them. They're called Cloud Academy, something Cloud Academy.
There's what's the name? I've forgotten the name. You joking?
It's okay. You don't have to name the people here.
I want to know the name.
No, Aziz, we need to share the names.
I think we all have similar stories, because I have somebody like that too. And it's funny because the person is even a Nigerian too, but if we don't want to name no names.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't you can tell your story, but don't name, please.
Okay. The good thing is that I got to the door. I was able to be introduced, but the thing is just they focus more on the theoretical part of getting your certification, but you having certification doesn't mean that you actually have the knowledge. So that's why I was stuck after getting the certification. But like, what to do? Like, I was just going through application. I know that these things that are in the job description, I do not know them. I don't know how to go about them. So this course just give me like a lot of confidence, really. Gives me a lot of confidence in just even if I go into an interview, I know I'll be able to say something and do some stuff. So it's big ups to you, Aziz, really.
Thank you. And
in those hold on, in those job courses that you was taking for £1,000 to £4,000, did you learn anything in those particular courses, or it was just taking your money?
Well, I did learn something, but they stop at a part. It's just we use KeyBuilder mostly, but the real life experience that you're meant to get when you have a job, because you need like experience for the job role. Most of the thing you learn is just about the theoretic part, how to pass the exam, and that's it. It's just how to pass the exam. They focus more on the exam. They don't focus on the applications.
And that's the reason why they look for people who don't know a lot. They look for people who are like brand new, so they can play their tricks on you and you don't know. That's what they do.
Yes.
So as I was asking all these questions, I was pushing the guy. I was like, hey, dude, I know what I'm doing. So, hey, what do you do? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. He knew I knew something. So he was like, hey, there's no way I think we can help you because you seem to know. I was like, no, I said, I still want to know. But he couldn't go further because he knew I knew.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
thing about it is that when a lot of them started, when this courses, when a lot of them started, they were doing it for people that were in the corporate world. That's why it was that expensive. So mainly people that were already working but needed a certification. Now they don't tell you that. Then obviously other people took it on, and then you just had like a whole load of people trying to do the same thing. But the ones that first started, that's what they were doing. That's why they set it up. Because I went to one 6 years ago to do for my AWS in London as well. And it was set in the city. But everybody I was with, they're all working in banks, and do you understand? And they were all IT managers and this and that. I was the only person that was there that was not actually in IT. So, it was a 3-day course. It was in a very nice building. We paid thousands. I think I paid about 5,000, 6,000 for that course. But I just noticed that everyone that was actually privately paying.
And you know what's funny? The thing that's funny as well was I lived in England for 2 years. So I kind of like, when we were talking, I kind of like was, hey, dude, where exactly are you from? I said, I used to live in Hemel Hempstead. I went to uni in Luton and all that stuff. He did not tell me exactly where he lived at because he was like, this guy will kind of like know what's going on. So that was how I caught him. I was like, okay, if we were having a basic conversation and you cannot even say where you are and all that stuff, I knew they were playing games. So I was like, dude, I actually shut off the call. I dropped the call myself.
With anything, when it starts getting popular, you're gonna have cowboys come into the market and do what they do. You know what I mean? So you just gotta be careful. Now you know that if you're gonna do anything, ask questions, research it and just do your due diligence and find out what they're doing. Because like I said, a lot of them were just set up just to take your money from you. So it's up to you to just know what you're doing.
Yeah. So
Fortunately, you would have to pay the price. That's the sad thing about it. But eventually, you'll find somebody like Aziz, who's God sent to a lot of us. You know what I mean? But eventually, I mean, that's the price you gotta pay.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Thank you.
I feel like
Thank you.
you guys, you're welcome. So I feel like I get you guys at the end because I'm working on this thing where it always says like our subconscious mind takes whatever we say as the value. So I'll just say it this way. My enemy is a terrible business person, right? Like I really don't put too much effort into like trying to like post everywhere. Even when I got on TikTok, it was someone that opened my TikTok account and was managing it for me, right? On YouTube is really where I'll if I make a tutorial, I'll put it there. But I really don't try to like market my stuff. But I can almost guarantee that if you're trying to learn AWS, it is the information I'm offering in the method that I'm offering it is the best you'll find out there. Because I know what it takes for me to be able to put this type of information I'm talking about nights and nights, and sometimes I record all night, then edit all day. It takes a lot of work, and I just don't see too many people willing to dedicate that amount of time into it. So, which is why they go the Zoom route. But I'm telling you guys, this is more for those that are trying to learn AWS. If you are listening, trying to learn AWS on Zoom does not work. It would never work, especially when you are trying to learn AWS on Zoom with other people that are new, just like you trying to learn AWS. I've been in a class when someone just asked me to listen into their class, and I joined the class for 3 weeks. On week 3, they were still on creating a VPC with one subnet. On week 3, right? And the reason why it would never work is because just as other people are there trying to learn and you are learning, and everybody pick up different things at different pace. So imagine you are in class and you've done the cloud practitioner, you're ready to start building your EC2. Then there's someone in the same class that hasn't even done the cloud practitioner course and doesn't even know what an EC2 is. Now they're going through the demo. You already creating your EC2. Someone is over there talking about, where is this? I don't see this on my screen. My screen looks different than yours. All that stuff happens when you are doing those live Zoom class, and which just hurts your growth. I've always said, if you want to learn AWS, the majority of the work is going to come from you. You have to sit down, go through the information. All you need is the information presented to you in an organized form that you can follow. I'm telling you, that's why I kind of like took that term boot camp away from my title, because I think it rubs people the wrong way. So that's why I call it more of a mentorship. And when people inquire about it, I tell them you will be going through the information yourself, and I will just be here to assist you, help you troubleshoot, answer any questions you have, motivate you when you need to be motivated. And honestly, that's all you guys need to learn learn AWS. And I don't feel like you guys should even have to pay me 1,000 for it. I feel like you guys should invest in yourself, because there's also time I'm taking away to show you these things. But I don't feel like you have to break your bank to do that either. So that's why my platform is the way it is.
Yeah, man. So on anybody that's going through this like AWS course, I recommend you to them every time, because
Thank
I've
you.
I've gone through a lot of platforms. As you said, like those Zoom calls, that's exactly how I started. Like those Zoom calls, like, and there will be like um a total novice to computer that doesn't like know much about computing itself, like the
Mm-hmm.
PC, they don't know how to work it itself, and
Exactly.
it's just be
Exactly.
slowing you down. It's just terrible.
Mm-hmm. I was teaching a group of people. We were taking one of those Zoom classes. So they formed a group within that class. They met, they formed a group, and they reached out to me to teach them Terraform. So I said, okay, you know what? I'll teach you guys Terraform. I'll meet with you on this day. I'll teach you. So I was teaching them. There was a person in their group, exactly what you said. He doesn't know how to even use a computer at all. At all. I'm talking about just even opening an application on a computer, he doesn't understand it. Or opening a folder, creating, he doesn't understand. And I remember there was a time I was just like that too, right? So I told him, I was like, so why did they charge you for the boot camp you were in? They took thousands of dollars from you, knowing that you don't even. So I just encouraged him to just put the AWS on the back burner for now and go and take like a regular computer class. So he just understand the basics of opening a computer, opening applications on a computer, how to download stuff, because that is where he needed to start. So Zoom class, there will be many people with a different phase, and that will just slow you down some more. Um, so I think if you try and learn AWS, just be serious about it. Be serious with yourself that this is something I want to learn, and dedicate your time to it. And in no time, you'll learn it. You see how you guys come to me when you work on the project, you guys come and say, okay, why are we doing it this way? The read one just even taught me something today. So you guys were here 2 weeks ago when we had that same issue, and it took 3 hours to do it because we had to delete the whole cluster and recreate it, not even knowing that you can go under the access and just add the IAM user there. I was looking for it that day, but I didn't know it was under access. So, I mean, that's what it's going to take. You go through it, then when you start asking meaningful questions about stuff like, okay, why are we doing it this way? Could we have done it? Could this have been done in a different way? That's when you really understand that you understand what you are doing and the knowledge is sinking in. So, and that's pretty much what I try to offer. Yeah. So I'm telling you guys, don't pay anyone $4,000 for anything, or even three, or even two. I mean,
Yeah.
but I understand that if someone is teaching something on Zoom, that's also their time, and they are entitled to charge however much they want to charge. But it is also up to you to do your due diligence to understand what they'll be offering you and how that would help you get to your goal before you pay anyone that type of money. Yeah. So that's all I have to say. Yeah.
AZ, are you gonna be trading this week?
Probably. I mean, I'm kind of like slowing down on trading until we figure out what's going on between US and China.
No.
because every single day the market is not a good place to trade. But I'm watching it every day because there might be an opportunity. Like, remember you guys like, where was anyone paying attention to the market like 2 weeks ago? Not last week, the week before last, when President Trump put a 90-day pause on the tariffs for other countries, right?
Yeah.
The market went up so bad, like, so it went up between like one and the market closed, the market just went up. It went up so much that there was a story of a guy that invested $10,000 and made 17 million just that day.
Yeah.
Right. Turned $10,000 to 17 million. And even if you would have invested $1,000, you would have turned that to 1.7. I'm praying for those type of opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So I still watch the market, because now I'm telling you guys, market is very scary now, but this is how millionaires are made. I'm telling you guys. Just pay attention to what's going on between US and China. Pay attention to the market, because at the point where all these things goes away, the upside, you can really catch the upside and make a lot of money. Remember in 2022, when this same thing happened, not the trade war, but whatever brought the market down in 2023 too.
That was COVID.
Yeah, after COVID, the market went down and all that stuff, right? 2023, 2024, a lot of people became millionaire, because when the market went back up, a lot of people caught that upside of it, made millionaires. The same thing is going to happen this time, but when is it going to start? I don't know. So that's why I'm saying, and you just gotta keep watching it and pay attention.
There was a lot of crypto millionaires made too. Not sure if we're including crypto in the market, but during that time period you mentioned, a lot of crypto millionaires spun up.
Yes.
With that being said, Afiz, like, since the market is completely down now, this would be probably the best time to buy. You're getting everything at cheap.
Yes, this is the best time to buy. So I think what will happen is now, right? What you guys can do now, if it's something you are interested in, is buy a small amount, right? Buy a small amount. Let's say you want to invest 10,000. Start with 5,000. Then if the market keeps going down, then you average down, right? It's true. It's very hard to time the market, but this is also the best time to buy. But a lot of people are still afraid to buy because we don't know if this is the bottom. You understand? Like, I've actually had entries when this whole thing first started, when President Trump announced the tariff and the market went down, and I rushed and went and bought. And all those positions I opened are probably down like 80% right now. Some of them I even lost 100%. I'll be honest with you guys. I invested in Amazon. I bought one Amazon contract. Then that was 3 months ago. Normally Amazon would, if they miss their earning, they will go down and come back up. So at the point where Amazon was probably going to start recovering, that was when the tariff thing started happening, and Amazon just kept going down. That contract just expired yesterday, and I lost over about $35,000 gone. Wow. Yeah. So sometimes you can think this is the bottom, but this is not the bottom. So that's why I'm saying nobody really knows, but it's very hard to time the market. So if you just want to be sure, you put a little bit money in now. Then if it goes down, then you keep averaging down. But I agree that this is a lot of things are really down now compared to where they were.
Yeah, I think if your strategy is in the next 3 to 5 years,
you'll be good. Exactly.
Yeah, you're looking out.
Yeah. So a lot of the positions that I have now are like 2 years out. So I know I'm good on those ones, even though those positions now all of them are losing 80% right now. 80% of the money right now. I can't even, if I told you guys how much my long-term portfolio is down, you guys, your jaw is going to drop. It's a lot of money. A lot. So I just try not to look at it every day, because for me, I think I've passed the stage when I see my portfolio down, I freak out. So So I'm good. But yeah, nobody knows whether this is the bottom because President Trump is still announcing that there might be other tariffs coming out for different industries, right? We don't know how what is going on between US and China is going to play out. And the market can still even go down some more. So I'll say put a little bit amount, then if it keeps going down, then you average down. And make sure whatever you get into is, like Sean said, is for 2 years, 3 years out. The thing with contracts is you can't buy 3-year out contract. The most you can buy is 2 years out. So make sure any contract you buy is at least 2 years out. So to give all these things to die down. But right now, yes, I'm looking at the market, but I'm not really trading like I used to.
Quick question: when you say contract, is this for like options or whatnot? I'm like
yes,
almost brand
options.
new to trading, so
yes, options.
Okay.
Yeah, options. Yeah, so I think for the options, because you can make a whole lot of money in options, and you can also lose a whole lot of money too. So my portfolio now is like split in half. It's like half shares, half option. So let's say I want, and all the companies I'm invested in are the same way. Let's say I try to buy like 1,000 shares of any company because I feel like 1,000 shares is good. So what I started doing is, if it's a company that is very expensive that I can't really buy 1,000 share of it, I'll buy 500 shares, and the rest I'll do it in options contract. So if I get like 5 contracts, that is equivalent to like 1,000 shares, not 1,000 shares. That's equivalent to 500 shares. So that's how my portfolio is split up right now. Yeah. So the market is just monitoring, guys. But and if you guys learn anything, there's other things you guys use, please teach me too. So this market is good for monitoring now, but don't make any big trade like that, because we just don't know if this is the bottom or not. This might be the bottom, or it might still keep crashing for the rest of the year based on what's going on. But I think whenever what is going on between US and China goes away, the market is going to go back up for sure. Yeah. So, but I'll keep you guys posted. And if I find anything, I'll definitely let you guys know too.
As far as monitoring the market, do you just use like public resources, or is there anything specific?
Yes, I use monitoring the market. This is what I use. Let me show you. So I use Yahoo Finance. You can see my thing is even on it. I use Yahoo Finance. So if you Yahoo Finance is good because they pull different applications, different articles from different source.
Okay.
So yeah, you can see. Look at this latest one is from Bloomberg, Investopedia, Reuters, Associated Press. So they pull different stories from different people. So in real time and during the week, they even have live updates here. So in real time, you can kind of get the news as it is happening.
Okay.
So I use Yahoo Finance. There was other ones that I was subscribed to before, but I just kind of got rid of all of them, and I just use Yahoo Finance. So there's Benzinga, there is Seeking Alpha. Let me see. Seeking Alpha. This one I still have subscription to it, but I'll cancel it once it is done. So these are kind of like the ones you use to keep up with news, what's going on. For my watch list, like my trading candle and all that stuff, I use Trading View. This is the best one you can use because even Trading View gives you news on any particular stock. If you scroll down, there will be a lot of information about it, news, technicals, what people are saying about it. So for my candlestick, I use Trading View. But for like news, yeah, Yahoo Finance is very good.
You see how high that Netflix went up?
Yes, they reported their earnings. So that's the thing. I wanted to buy it the other day, right? On Thursday, they reported their earnings after close. I wanted to buy it, but I have this new thing that I'm disciplining myself not to bet on earnings anymore, because you can bet on earnings, everything can be good and they will still go down. But Netflix is just a unique company because I think Netflix is going to be really, really, really big. They are big now, but it's going to be even bigger. So what I'm going to do on Monday is, all right, where's Netflix? I don't think I have it here, but I have it on my trading view. So what I'm going to do on Monday is, you see how when they report their earnings, it went all the way. It was from like right here, 969, it went to 1,025. Then it dropped, right? So I'll just monitor it tomorrow. I mean, Monday, right? Most likely it's going to drop, right? When market open, it can shoot all the way up, but at some point it will have a pullback. But I think that 1,000 price is holding. It will probably get to that 1,000. So anytime it pulls below 1,000, I'll probably buy a contract. And once it gets back to 1,000, I'll sell it. So that's how I plan to trade it, right? So in this market, if you want, it's very difficult, but how you can make money is, you see this red and this green thing, how when you see like a green like that, like right here, you see a green like that, here you see a green like that. Those are the pockets where people are making money, because the market is not, because of all this stuff going on, you can't just leave your money in there overnight and for weeks you lose your money. But people try to find these pockets where the market goes green, and that's how people are making money. So on Monday, I'm going to look for the same thing. It went there. Go ahead.
On this particular strategy, where will you get in at if the market opened at 9:45? Where would, if this was to play out all over again and you didn't see any of this, where would you get in it? Where would you start buying at?
So when the
So
market
you can catch that wave. Yeah.
So when the market opens, this is what I'll look at, the levels, right? So remember, I wrote some code in here that gives me the level, and the level will form based on how the price is moving with that when market open, right? So you can see, well, this is not a good thing because it already moved, right? So when the market opens on Monday, this purple line and this yellow line is going to form another level based on how the price is moving. So that is what I will look at. So whenever this price drops below this purple line, that's when I'll buy it. Then when it goes past, when it blows past the purple line, then that's when I sell. So anything,
that's
anything
your stop loss.
Yes. So this purple line, once it goes past this purple line, the purple line becomes my stop loss. But most likely on Monday, this will probably do well. So the main thing is just waiting for it to pull back. Once it pulls back, then this purple line wouldn't be here on Monday. It will be somewhere here, or wherever it went to, it will be there. So this purple line will probably be up here.
Gotcha.
So once it drops past the purple line, I'll look for a good entry. So right now, what I'm trying to learn is the best time to enter a position, right? Because you make money in options, especially when you are day trading options, if you find a good entry. Like, right, let's not even use this, right? Look, on Friday, I tried to day trade this and I lost money because it's just not good. And this is only happening because of this whole trade war with China and all that stuff. So you see how this is this is not good at all. It's not, none of this is good to trade. See, this is not good.
Yeah.
So you see how this is, right? This purple line, when this candle, really what ChatGPT told me is when the candle is above this purple line, right? And the next one gives me the confirmation that you retest is just above it, that's going to be the best time to know, okay, this thing is going to have an upside. But With the market, as soon as the market is trying to have an upside, it just comes back down. Because the market is just not good at, look at it, everything is the same. So it's very hard to make money. And Netflix is only like this because they report their earning and they did good. So that was the catalyst it needed to pump. But everything else, you look at everything else, Meta, Microsoft, they are all the same. So it's very hard to trade it.
In a market like this, you could just buy calls and see it seems like the market is going the opposite direction from what I'm looking at. It's like
you buy
you wouldn't.
You can buy, not really, because if you bought call here, if let's say you bought call when the price was here, right? You have to sell it here, because if you didn't sell it up here and it came back down here, you would have lost your money.
Gotcha.
You understand? Gotcha. So it's not really call, it's not really puts. Like, look at it. This time was what was that? 130? What, 230 or so, right? And this time was 330, 325 or 425, right? So between 230 and 325, you have to sell, you have to buy here and know to sell it. That is very difficult to do. Because as this thing is now, I'm saying the overall candle for the day, but when it is forming, you're not going to know it's going to do this.
Yeah, this market right here is fluctuating so fast that I don't think
exactly. Like, yeah, it's just better to, it's only people that are the top professional that can trade this type of things. People like me that I'm still learning what I'm doing. Like, this is very hard. So I tried to do it with Tesla on Thursday and I lost money. So it's very difficult to do.
Buy and hold. That's
in the time frame. What time frame of user? What time frame user? I see this one is in a 5 minute.
I always use 15. I always
15?
use 15. Yeah, but most people that day trade use 5. Because the 5 gives you more candle, it has more noise. But the 15 is a little bit better. I always use 15. But
and
even the 15 is not good. Okay.
Did you get a full understanding on how the candlesticks and how they work? Okay, you did master that. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I understand how the candlestick works. The only next thing I need to understand is looking at past patterns, which I really don't know if it matters too much. But a lot of people that are professional things, you can look at sometimes they'll say, oh, it's forming this. If it forms this pattern, it means it's going to do this. But for me, I just look at what I trade what I use for my level. What I use for my entry is the price, the candle has to be there's other one that I'm let me just show something. Okay. So for me to enter a trade, the candle has to be between this purple and green. If I want to buy a call, it has to be between this purple and green, right? So I can enter it anywhere in here, or if I want a good confirmation, it has to be above this purple. And the next candle that opens after that has to also be above this purple. Then that's when I enter. But most of the time, you may catch, if you enter here, you make more money. But what happens is, like, throughout this week, once the candle passes this purple thing, it comes right back down. It is not even going up. So for me, when I trade, that's what I look at. The candle has to be above this purple or somewhere in here. And the candle also has to be above this line. You see this orange line? The candle has to be above it. So if the candle is above it, it means that the price is going in an upward trend. And if the candle is below it, it means the market is going in a downward trend. So you can see from the price for the day, the market was kind of like a downward trend. The candle was never above this. So for like a company like this, I just don't even trade it at all. So those are the things I look at. And these lines are formed every day based on how the price moves for that day. So I don't put the line there myself. On Monday, when the market opens, the line will automatically form based on how the price is moving.
Yes, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at your volume, and I know the volume that means something too, and the volatility that's
Yeah.
going with it. So, and I see
So
44.84 million. So I guess that's what
yeah, so I think
70%.
this volume is how much people are trading that particular stock in that time period, like how much people are buying it. So if the volume is red, the candle is usually always red too. And if it's green, the candle is green. So if it's red, it means more people are selling during that time than buying. And if it is green, it means more people are buying. Right. So
Right.
really, really really what I'm trying to do is find where there will be the breakout. And really the type of profit you'll be taking every day would be something like this, where
Mm-hmm.
where you can get consistent upward trend. You enter at the lower part, you sell it at the top part, and you make your money. So for example, for me, once the candle cross this, let's say this candle end up going and it cross this purple, I'll be willing to sell it at any point here. But that's what the market has been doing. It goes up, it comes down. But for this last week, the market just didn't even go up at all. It was just down, 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 down every day.
But in that same pattern, I do see the market. It did on your purple line.
Mm-hmm.
I think is it's
Which
on the
one?
1700 mark, but it was not a call. It was a put, and it went all the way down.
Exactly.
But yeah,
But yeah, but catching it at the right time is what is difficult. Yeah.
yeah,
Because the work you are seeing now is the aftermath of it. Right.
right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, you'll never be able to judge that. So that's why
Yeah.
you saying go for the calls, not the puts. But everything
I
is in
tend to do
haywire.
calls instead of puts because like I really can't predict when the market is going to go down. Some people probably can, I can't. But if uh if the signs the lines and the signs are showing me that the candle is where I need it to be, I'm trusting the data that it will continue in the upward trend. So I'll buy at that point. So I'm using the code ChatGPT created for me and the data to predict. In the past that I've compared it to the charts in the past, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. But now that the market is just not moving right because of the trade war going on between US and China, I just have to wait till everything goes away. Then it will be the best time to trade.
Yeah, but I'm looking at Palantir. Palantir is trading at 93.78.
Palantir is
That's a
doing,
good.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
doing very well. It's doing very well. So that would probably be a good company to look at to keep under the radar because whatever the trade war that's going on now, it seems like it's not really affecting Palantir anymore.
right.
Because Palantir to be trading at $93 is very, very, very good.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
almost all these other companies are down like 60, 50, 60, $70. Palantir is pretty much around the time this whole thing started, Palantir was at around this price. I mean, after the report they are earning, it was at 120, but then it came down from 120 when Trump was cutting budget. Um, then when the whole tariff thing happened, it came down some more, but it's been going back up. Palantir at $100 is very, very good. Very good.
yeah. If I was to get into it, I would be buying Palantir for $100, but uh, and see what it do. But that's only in that particular date, right? You can't push it on out all the way into 2 months or a year from now. You got to do it in that particular date, right?
No, I think if you buy Palantir, it would be better if you did it for like 8 years. I mean, not 8 years. I mean, it would be better if you did it for like a year or two, because in the long run, you'll make money.
Gotcha, gotcha.
It's better
But
to
that's
buy whatever you get into. It's better to buy longer. Longer,
okay.
it'll make money. Hopefully, in a year or two, all this tariff thing would have gone away. And imagine if you buy now, you bought a 2-year contract of something, and all this thing goes away this year. you make money. So yeah.
I have a question. So it's like I'm kind of new to trading and I loosely understand these concepts. I get some of it, but like in putting it all together, like how can I use ChatGPT to get a understanding like you did?
Okay. So you can't ask ChatGPT, what do I buy today? It won't tell you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like to
Yeah,
understand the whole trading, like to
yeah,
have a base knowledge.
exactly. So yeah, saying like, so how ChatGPT can help you is, so how I how I how I how I use ChatGPT was I was just thinking about something. Maybe it's something. So there are some basic trading principles that everyone knows, right? Whatever they are, right? So for example, on my chart here, right? This line, this red color thing, this is pre-market. That's before market open. Market opens at 9:30, but pre-market, some people have access to trade in those time. Before 9:30, they can trade. So that's this red thing. This yellow thing means something, right? So mainly how you can use ChatGPT to help you is maybe you can find it, and I just thought of this idea now. Maybe you can find a book on trading, all right? Basic principles of trading, things that are always consistent, right? Then that's what I did with the code ChatGPT wrote for me. Then I use whatever that concept is. ChatGPT was teaching me something and I forgot exactly what I was asking. So whatever ChatGPT, so it was ChatGPT that told me like this purple line. So this purple line is the highest point the stock went to in the pre-market, right? So for me, what I'm trying to find is the highest point that price went for the day and the lowest point. So the chances are if a stock already went to that price for the day, and then let's say it went to this price, this purple line is the highest point it went to for the day. And this red one is the lowest point it went for the day, right? Chances are if stocks, they just don't go up all day. Sometimes they go up, they come down, they go up, they come down. So me, I'm just trying to trade that gap, the highest point and the lowest point. So you can see this stock, this price here, every time it came back to this lowest point, it always goes back up. It always goes past it. So that's what I'm trying to trade. So let's say for the day, the stock, at one point it reached this purple line, but then the stock is now right here. So at this point, what I'm looking for is is like a good entry point. So first I have to be able to predict whether it's going to go up and down, right? So when the stock gets to a certain level here, I find a good entry, I buy, and it goes up, right? Those are the things that I use ChatGPT to write the code, right? So for me, I ask ChatGPT, okay, so for example, ChatGPT will give the code ChatGPT wrote for me will give me the signal when the stock passes this green line and other things is happening with the volume and all that stuff. And it is also above this line. So I'm saying like to use ChatGPT to learn, you can find like some basic trading principles that are always the same. Then you ask it to convert it into a code for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And one code, where did you deploy this code? Is it on some server, some cloud server, or
Oh
where?
no. It's this same this same this
Platform?
this platform that I'm using, TradingView, right?
Yeah.
Most trading platform, not trading platform, but like platform like this will have it. But this is the best I've used so far. So I recommend TradingView. They have this thing called indicators, right? So indicators are like different things that can happen. These are even some indicators that people created, right? So what I do is I just add, let's say I add this one, right? So if you add that indicator, where is it? It will be here. I know, sorry, this thing is kind of in the way, but because I have a bunch of it here. What did I just add now? Or I remove it. Let me add another one. So let me add this one, right? It is here. I think because I have so much stuff here, it is not really showing. Okay, right. So if you add that indicator, it will show up here. So here, if you click this source code, that source code will show you the code for it, right? You can give this code to ChatGPT and tell it you want to create a code. Or if you have a concept, tell ChatGPT the concept and tell it you want to write it in this code. It will write it for you. So this is where the code goes. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Uh, uh,
So each of the
can you help me set up mine like how you got yours?
Yeah, sure, I can. Do you
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
do you have a TradingView account? It has to be, and you have to have the paid one though. You can
I
have
don't have
the
that. Yeah, I
yeah.
have the free version. I don't have the paid version. But
I
it
think
looks like to me the free version is almost the same thing as the paid version. You
yeah,
have a
but
little bit more stuff going on than mine.
yeah, just compare the price between the free and the paid one. I think the paid one have some stuff. The paid one has some stuff that the free one don't have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they
need to
don't give
know
me a
more.
whole watch list.
Yeah,
They only give me a couple of them.
yeah, so that's just the thing. Yeah, there's some stuff the paid one have that the free one don't have. So yeah, so yeah, so that's just the main thing. Other than that, so like even the code that I'm writing, some of it I haven't had time to test it because when I started writing it, when I finally had the code and I wanted to test it, the tariff thing already started. So the market is not really moving in a way, but the code is working because at the end of the day, if the price don't meet whatever conditions I've put in there, it does not give me the signal to buy. So like for like this view for the day, right? It didn't tell me to buy anything. So really I'm supposed to stay away from it. But sometimes I get so stubborn where I try to still make a trade in the day. And that's what I need to learn. Like it's not every day you don't have to force it. If you don't see it, you don't see it. So that's what I try to do with Tesla on Thursday and I end up losing money on it. But um I can
There's
say
a
it didn't give me any signal to do anything.
there's a thing called Tashi lines or something like that. And I've been trying to look into that on my own. But I don't know how to read the candlestick patterns of Hashitashi lines. I might be saying it wrong, but
Yeah, I think I know what you're saying. It's here. It's one of this candlestick. I think is somewhere. Right.
yeah,
This one.
yeah, that is it.
Yeah, right. People put like this platform really just have everything so that's what I'm saying. The same way with how I'm approaching it, the same way I learned cloud computing and I was able to use ChatGPT to learn some stuff. I feel like I can learn trading too and what to look for. So that's what I'm working on now. I don't even think I'm remotely close there, but I like the progress I've been making. Like since I started, I've learned what the candle, this particular type of candle means, the levels, I've learned those things. So, but some people know if they see a pattern, you see sometimes they draw a line here, draw a line here. I don't do all that. But for me, I just look at these lines. So if the prices was here and it was going up, then I'll be looking to get in at any point here. But if I really want to wait for a confirmation, I'll wait till it gets above this purple line. And if it just like this price is never even close to this, then I just stay away from it. And you can see all day, it never got there. So I didn't get the signal to buy and the price all day never got there. So it just depends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But once I learn more, I'll definitely fill you guys in.
Yeah, I'm kind of taking up a trading kind of class, and I'm kind of like absorbing myself into this, and I'm starting to understand it a little bit, but
Okay.
for as the calls, the puts, where to get in at, how to read these particular lines, how you have it for as market open, and when to buy and how much to buy for. That's my only thing that I'm coming in contact with on when to buy and where to buy. And
Exactly.
I can't get it. I'm trying, but
It
I
takes
don't
time.
see the pattern that I'm supposed to be looking for
Exactly.
to
Every single
get
time.
into it.
Yeah, you're right. That's the main thing everyone is trying to figure out. When is a good time to enter and when is a good time to exit, right? Especially when you are day trading. Every
Right.
day, I mean, if you trade, for those that trade a lot, they may see a pattern that they recognize, right? Even I'm the same way. I haven't been able to spot like a consistent pattern in them. They do different things. And since the market is even down now, the pattern is even horrible, right? So, which is why I said, for me, I don't have to worry about the patterns. I just have to worry about the levels. Chances are, if this stock price goes up here, is up here, chances are it will probably go to this purple, right? If in a good market condition, right? So when you enter here, you just set your stop loss, right? I mean, you set your stop loss. Sometimes it will continue. Sometimes it will have a pullback and it will continue. So it just depends. You're right. Is the pattern and knowing when to enter is the main thing everyone is trying to figure out.
All right. I have been seeing people like how they put their stop loss, like where you had the green line and they change their stop loss going
Yeah.
if the
Yeah.
market keep going up.
Exactly.
I ain't get to that point yet on what risk am I taking, what profit can I lose, and what gains can I make. And
I do that.
ain't
I
get to
do
that
that
point
too.
yet.
I do that too. So for example, let's say you bought it here, right? You bought it here, then this green becomes your stop loss. That's what I do, right? So now let's say the price kept going up and it blows past this purple. In order to protect the amount of money you've made, you change your stop loss from this line to this line.
Gotcha.
So that way, if the stock starts to drop, once it gets back here, they sell it for you and you protect all the money you made when the stock was blowing past here. You understand? So yeah, you would move your stop loss. The reason is because sometimes they do that is because when you set your stop loss, sometimes the price will come down to your stop loss and you will lose whatever money you lose, but it won't be much, but based on where you put your stop loss, but then it will end up going back up. You see how right here, let's say you put your stop loss here on this red line. You see how this candle end up coming back to that red line? At that point, they will sell it and you would have lost your money. I mean, you won't lose money, but it depends on where you buy, but they will sell, you will lose your position. Let's say that. Right. But you saw that eventually on the next like 3 candle, you ended up going up here.
Right.
You understand?
I do.
So by the time it crossed here, right? If you left your stop loss here, when the price came down to that price, then you just made money and you lost it. But when the stock went up here, if you change your stop loss from this line to this line, then when the stock is coming back down, you sold it and you made your profit. But like I said, the candle is not really moving that much in like this one. So this is very difficult to trade.
Right.
Like people like us shouldn't even be trading this. This is very difficult to do.
See how you put the gold line, and you see how you say you put your stop loss up. Do you predict this gold line, or
No,
your system is they already pick it for you?
Yeah, the gold line all these lines will populate there based on how the stock is moving every day. So you can see every day, this red thing you are seeing, this is the past couple of days, right? You can see that the gold line for for this day is different from the goal line for that day. And it is different from the goal line from the previous day.
Okay.
So those, based on how the price is moving for the day, it will set those for me.
Yes, it's already, yeah, you got to set mine up like this for me. Just
All right.
I'm not gonna get into it or as buying. Only if I would be buying Palantir or NVIDIA, because NVIDIA is at
Yeah,
100. But
exactly.
to set my code and how everything, how you got it to be on the same page, to understand what I'm looking at and patterns. I will want mine to be exactly like this, but I haven't paid for a trading view, and I'm not ready yet to
Yeah, I know.
to actually buy. Yeah,
I understand.
you get what I'm saying. But
Yeah,
I
I
still
understand.
want my code to be set up. Once you get to a point to where you understand what you're doing, where you can
Sure.
relate it to me as like a C level or a D level student, where I can pick up certain patterns and what you would see. Because
Yeah,
I
sure.
remember you saying you can make even if the market's like this, I remember you saying you could still make $1,000 in the market, how it's
Yeah,
looking like
yeah,
it's looking like this.
for sure, for sure. I can, even when the market was bad the other time, I made like 5,000. But then this week, maybe I lost like 1,000. But really, like even the one I lost money on, I should have set my stop loss. I didn't set it. That's the thing. But it's very difficult trading a market like this. But when the market finally goes normal, yeah, of course, I'll be able to spot those ups and down. They will be more clear. They will be more clear. It's just like now because the market is the way it is the market wants to go up, but there is that news and everything just pulling it back down. So.
Right.
So the only way you can probably, well, I mean, one of the ways you can make money now is like if you trade the earnings, like what happened with Netflix here. But then that's difficult to do because you can think they will do well and they do it well, but their stock price still drops. So it's very difficult to do.
Right.
Yeah, but once I get my code to a state where I know it is working and consistently it's doing what I asked it to do, of course, I'll set yours up like that. I'll help you set it.
Okay. Yeah,
All right.
help me set up mine, because as you can see from you listening to me and I'm listening to you, I got a kind of like I got an idea of what I'm doing.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
not all the way,
Mhm.
how I got it where I want to start spending my
Mhm.
money on it.
I
But
understand.
I have a good plan, and I'm still gonna do some research on it and figure most of the stuff out. Where I'm at for us right now, I am looking into uh I think beta, alpha, I think is volume, and I think it's another one that I'm kind of like taking a nice